Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The buzz around the league has been growing quietly but steadily, and now the whispers are impossible to ignore, because Quinnen Williams is suddenly being talked about as the centerpiece of a major internal shift that could reshape the identity of the Las Vegas Raiders from inside out. Sources close to the situation describe a feeling that something has already been decided behind closed doors, even if nothing has been made official, and the language being used is strong, confident, and deliberate. The idea circulating is that Williams would not simply arrive as another high-profile name, but as the unquestioned commander of the defensive interior, the Mile In Ho, the heart of the trenches where games are truly dictated. People inside the organization allegedly believe his presence would instantly change how offenses line up, how protections are called, and how quarterbacks sleep at night. The Raiders, according to this rumor, see Williams as more than talent. They see him as tone, attitude, and authority. There's talk that conversations progressed quickly once mutual interest was established, with both sides recognizing a rare alignment of ambition and opportunity. Even without confirmation, the confidence of these whispers suggests a deal that feels inevitable rather than hypothetical, something that insiders say has been building long before the public caught scent of it. What makes this speculation even more compelling is the narrative that the Raiders are no longer content with patchwork solutions or short-term answers in the middle of their defensive line. The story being told internally is about control, dominance, and sending a message to the rest of the league that Las Vegas wants to own the line of scrimmage. Quinnen Williams, in this version of events, becomes the symbol of that philosophy, a player capable of collapsing pockets, demanding double teams, and freeing everyone else around him to play faster and more aggressively. The rumors suggest that coaches have already begun sketching out concepts and packages built specifically around his skill set, imagining how his explosiveness off the snap could unlock an entirely different defensive personality. There's even chatter that leadership roles were part of the conversation, that Williams was presented not only with a football vision, but with a cultural one. The Raiders reportedly want him to be the voice in the huddle, the presence in the locker room, the standard everyone else measures themselves against. None of this has been confirmed, of course, but the consistency of the speculation makes it feel less like fantasy and more like leaked intention. Around the league, rival executives are said to be paying close attention, reading between the lines, and preparing for the possibility that the Raiders might suddenly become far more disruptive up the middle than anyone anticipated. The rumor mill suggests that this potential agreement caught some teams off guard, not because Williams' value is in question, but because the Raiders' approach feels unusually decisive. There is a sense that Las Vegas identified its target, committed fully, and moved with quiet efficiency. Analysts whisper that this reflects a front office growing into its own identity, willing to be bold without being loud. The speculation paints a picture of meetings that were intense but respectful, focused on long-term impact rather than short-term headlines. Williams, according to those close to him, was intrigued by the idea of being the foundation rather than just a piece, the player everything else is built around. That kind of pitch resonates with elite competitors, especially those who believe their best football is still ahead of them. Again, none of this is officially acknowledged, but the tone of the chatter suggests a shared belief that the path forward was obvious to everyone in the room. Fans, meanwhile, are reacting to these rumors with a mix of excitement and cautious optimism. Try to imagine what a defense anchored by Quinnen Williams could look like in silver and black. Social conversations hint at a renewed sense of swagger. The idea that the Raiders could reclaim a reputation for physical, intimidating football that starts in the trenches. The speculation goes beyond scheme and statistics, touching on identity and pride, two things that matter deeply to this franchise and its supporters. Some whispers even suggest that veterans on the roster have already been made aware that a major presence could be arriving, subtly shifting expectations and accountability levels within the locker room. When a player of Williams' stature is rumored to be coming in as the centerpiece, it naturally raises the bar for everyone else. The Raiders, according to this narrative, want that pressure. They want competition. They want a standard that does not allow for comfort or complacency. Whether true or not, the rumor alone is already changing the conversation around the team, and that in itself speaks volumes. From Williams' perspective, the speculation frames this potential move as a calculated step rather than a simple change of scenery. People close to the player suggest he is motivated by legacy, by the desire to be remembered as someone who transformed a unit and left a lasting mark. Las Vegas, with its unique spotlight and evolving football culture, reportedly appeals to that ambition. The idea of commanding the mile in ho, of being the central force that everything else revolves around, fits perfectly with how Williams sees himself at this stage of his career. The whispers say he wants responsibility, not shelter, and that he embraces the challenge of being the player offense's game plan around every single week. This rumored agreement, then, becomes less about contracts and more about alignment of vision. Two sides seeing the same future and deciding to walk toward it together. Until something is announced, it remains speculation, but the conviction behind the talk makes it hard to dismiss. As this rumor continues to circulate, it carries with it a sense of momentum that feels difficult to stop. Each new whisper reinforces the last, creating a narrative that feels increasingly cohesive and intentional. The Raiders, in this story, are not just acquiring talent. They're making a statement about who they want to be. Quinnen Williams, commanding the middle, becomes the embodiment of that statement. Whether this agreement is truly closed or simply very close, the speculation alone has already achieved something powerful. It has shifted expectations. It has made people look at Las Vegas differently. And sometimes, in this league, perception is the first step toward reality. The second part of this rumor dives even deeper into how this supposed agreement with Quinnen Williams could ripple through every layer of the Raiders organization, starting with the defensive philosophy and extending all the way to how opponents prepare mentally for matchups. Insiders suggest that if Williams truly becomes the anchor of the mile in ho, the Raiders would no longer need to rely on excessive blitzing or schematic tricks to generate pressure. His presence alone would command attention, forcing offensive lines to adjust protections and leaving other defenders in more favorable situations. The speculation paints a picture of a defense that becomes simpler yet more effective, built on winning individual battles rather than manufacturing chaos. Coaches are rumored to love that idea, believing it creates consistency and confidence. When players trust that the man next to them will do his job at an elite level, everyone plays faster. That is the domino effect people around the league are quietly talking about, the kind that does not always show up immediately in headlines, but fundamentally changes how a team competes. There's also talk that this move, if finalized, would signal a philosophical shift in how the Raiders allocate resources and prioritize positions. For years, observers have debated whether investing heavily in the interior defensive line is worth it, but the rumor suggests Las Vegas has answered that question decisively. They allegedly see the mile in ho as the engine of the defense, the place where physicality and willpower intersect. Williams, in that sense, becomes both player and proof of concept. The speculation hints that younger defenders would benefit enormously from his presence, learning daily habits, preparation routines, and the mental side of dominating the trenches. Veterans, meanwhile, would be challenged to elevate their own standards to match his intensity. This is not just about what happens on game day, according to the whispers, but about transforming the weekly rhythm of work. A single elite presence can raise the temperature of an entire building, and that is exactly what the Raiders are rumored to be seeking. Opposing teams, according to this speculative narrative, are already taking note. Even without confirmation, the possibility of facing a Raiders defense led by Quinnen Williams forces adjustments in off-season planning and personnel evaluation. Offensive coordinators are said to be mentally bookmarking this scenario, imagining how it would complicate their usual approach. Centers and guards around the league would suddenly find Las Vegas circled on their schedules as a physical test, not just another opponent. That psychological edge is part of what makes this rumored agreement so intriguing. Football is as much about belief as it is about execution, and the belief that the Raiders could control the interior could change how games unfold before the first snap. Again, this is all speculation, but it reflects how highly Williams is regarded and how impactful his presence is perceived to be. Within the Raiders fan base, the second wave of rumors has sparked deeper conversations about long-term vision and championship windows. Supporters are not just dreaming about sacks or highlights, but about stability and identity. The idea of having a dominant force in the middle for years creates a sense of security that fans crave. It allows them to imagine continuity, a defense built around a core rather than constantly reshuffled pieces. Some whispers even suggest that this potential deal was discussed internally as a cornerstone move, something around which future decisions would be made. If true, it would indicate a level of planning and patience that has not always been associated with the franchise. Whether or not the rumor proves accurate, it reveals what people want the Raiders to become, and that desire is powerful. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. For Quinnen Williams, the speculation around this agreement frames him as a central character in a much larger story, one about resurgence, ambition, and redefining narratives. Joining the Raiders in this rumored capacity would place him under an intense spotlight, but also give him a platform few others can offer. The silver and black carry history, expectation, and a certain mystique, and being the man in the middle of that defense would come with both pressure and prestige. People close to the situation suggest that Williams understands that and is drawn to it rather than intimidated by it. The idea of commanding the Mile-In-Ho in Las Vegas is portrayed as a challenge worthy of his talent and mindset. Again, this is all rumor, but it is told with a confidence that feels rooted in real conversations. As the speculation continues to swirl, one thing becomes clear. This story has already taken on a life of its own. Whether the agreement is truly closed or still hovering just out of reach, the narrative has shifted how people talk about both Quinnen Williams and the Las Vegas Raiders. It has created expectation, intrigue, and a sense that something significant is happening beneath the surface. Until the silence breaks, all anyone can do is read the signs, connect the dots, and wonder if the Mile-In-Ho in Las Vegas is about to belong to one of the most dominant interior forces in football. Ultimately, the Raiders' current crisis is being watched with intense scrutiny as analysts, insiders, and fans alike attempt to project the ripple effects across multiple dimensions of the organization. Rumors continue to circulate about internal reforms, potential roster adjustments, and the psychological impact on both players and staff, painting a picture of a franchise at a crossroads. The suspension of MAXX CROSBY, a player whose presence was once considered foundational, has ignited speculation that extends from locker room dynamics to league-wide policy implications, creating a narrative rich with uncertainty and intrigue. Some insiders suggest that this moment could serve as a catalyst for innovation, resilience, and reinvention, while others warn of destabilization, strategic missteps, and reputational damage. As the Raiders navigate this volatile period, every decision, adjustment, and public statement is being analyzed, debated, and speculated upon, leaving fans and commentators in a state of heightened anticipation. The story continues to evolve, a compelling drama of ambition, controversy, and the relentless pressure of professional sports, where the absence of one player has sparked a maelstrom that no one could have predicted, and the outcome remains as uncertain as it is captivating. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.